And welcome back to my channel. I am so glad that you guys came over today to see another message of the day. If it is your first time here, welcome. On this channel, what I'm trying to do is I'm doing this little bit of a social experiment to document what God is doing in my life or how I'm changing per my experiences on a daily basis. So I really wanted to vlog style what kind of happens in my life and see how God is actually changing me. I feel like we don't live for 24 hours without a purpose, and you can look back years later and know that you're different and know that you've changed, but I thought this would be kind of a more detailed way to go about your life in general. And I was tired of looking back and really not knowing specifically how I changed or why I changed. And so I really wanted to document what was going on in my personal journey and in my personal opinions. So today went by so fast. I have no idea. I feel like I just got up. I probably look like it too. It's just gone crazy. And before I knew it, like, my husband was home. We were doing homeschool still, which was like, spur of the moment, my husband and I decided to go on a date. So one thing people ask me a lot when I tell them that I want to document this is they ask me, like, can you really document that? And I think it's really hard to document how you've changed in the last 24 hours when your last 24 hours seems like 2. And I could see where that would be really, really difficult. So I didn't have a lot of time to reflect. And so this evening, probably like within the last hour, I kind of had to give myself some time to reflect and figure out, like, what was going on? How did I do today? You know, what happened? And something occurred to me that earlier today, my child was doing a Bible curriculum, and in the Bible curriculum, it was talking about trusting God. And then he had to kind of like write this letter to God and tell him what he was like struggling with, and to trust, I guess, to help him know that God is there for you, and he was always there for you. He's always gonna be there for you. And if you look back at your life, God is always taking care of you. And I know for a fact, in my personal case, this has been the case. Like, I've never been in a situation where God did not intervene and help me. And there are so many situations that I look at that I'm like, how did that even like occur? How did this happen? All this stuff. How did I get there? Oh my gosh. And you know that God was there for you, and he was fighting the fight for you. And in this, it made me just think about, like, that's a really hard thing. It's really hard to trust God. And in the same token, it's really hard to appreciate what you're given in life. And we always just want, and we want more. So on this particular day, I had gone on this date with my husband, and I remember thinking, like, wow, like, years ago, this would have been impossible. Like, my child was younger. It's really hard to go on dates because, oh my gosh, like, sitters and this and that. It's a big thing. And I was just appreciating the fact that, like, I could go on a spur of the moment date with my husband. And I was like, that is so cool. And I thought about it, and I was like, if you truly appreciate life and you truly appreciate what you're given, big, small, indifferent, doesn't matter, you will always be happy. So on this particular day, like, this wasn't like the Ritz, like, we didn't go out to some fancy restaurant. We just went out on this spur of the moment date and got to kind of reconnect, and I was so appreciative of that. And it was just this other way to think about the world, that if you trust God and you put all that you have in his hands, everything that you can't control, finances and people and circumstances, all the things that you cannot control, and you know that every good and perfect thing comes from him, you will always be happy. The Walmart line will never make you mad, because there are so many people in the world that cannot go to Walmart. There are so many people in the world that don't have grocery stores, that are relying on growing their food, or just so many tragic things. Like, we have clean water out of the faucet. Like, that's amazing if you think about it. I mean, right pumped right into our homes. And I think sometimes we forget and we don't appreciate that. And so appreciating what you have, but also trusting that God's gonna give you everything you need and everything you have. You have to keep reminding yourself of how good you have it. Even when you look around and you don't think what you have is good. Somebody would kill to be in your same situation. I'm looking across the table at my husband tonight thinking there's so many people in the world that would love to be able to go out to dinner with their spouse. Okay, like maybe their spouse isn't here. Maybe, they've passed on. But maybe also they're just like traveling, or for different various reasons they can't do this. And I've been in those situations too, where you just want a date so bad because you just want to reconnect with that person, but there's no time, or there's another travel trip, or your work is keeping you over again, or you have to stay late again. And I feel like sometimes we just don't appreciate what we are given and what we have. And we just need to trust that God is going to give us everything that we need. And everything that He knows is going to bless us in that particular season of our life. Sometimes the blessings come later and you don't realize, but they weren't good for that season. So they're going to come at a different time in your life when you actually need them. So I know this was kind of like a heavy kind of topic, and I really had this amazingly fast day that I can't even believe it's like almost midnight. And I'm like, oh my gosh, I need to go to bed. I look terrible. But I wanted to share this with you guys. I wanted you to understand that like sometimes everybody looks at their life and it's not perfect, but you have to look at the things in your life and the things that you are given and really appreciate your life and just trust that God is always there. He is always on your side. There's this line in a song when I was like a young Christian that I loved, that if God is for you, then nothing can stand against you. And I think that we have to keep reminding ourselves that. There is like a scripture I think that goes along with it, but it's like midnight and I'm not sure what that is at the moment. But if there is, I will pop it up on the screen. But oh my goodness, God is for you. And I think I just needed to be reminded of that so I could keep pushing on in the journey. Don't necessarily think that I'm like changed today, but I think He's just reminding me and molding me because apparently I don't get things the first time. So I don't think I necessarily had a change for today, but I was really happy with being reminded of just this simple, basic truth. And I feel like in all of our journeys, we just need to be reminded continually of what we have and how blessed we are. And if we truly appreciate life, we could never be angry or sad or bitter. And if we truly trust God, we will always be happy. Happiness lies knowing your Creator and having a deep relationship with Him. That's where your happiness can lie. Thank you guys so much for hanging out with me. Thanks for coming over. It is late and I am going to bed, but I will definitely see you tomorrow in another brand new video. Bye for now.